or when they're given a break and they're able to come back to the staging area.
Craig, what's the reality on the breathing for them? Do they go in there with masks? Is there something that you can do for them when they step back from the fire, they're relieved, and somebody else goes in?
Well, I'm not familiar with what equipment they use when they go in, and obviously there are many, many other trained medical personnel. There are ambulance corps people all over the place. When you're in those staging areas, it is a sea of flashing lights, and there in the middle of it is the Red Cross. You know, and our job is to stay in our lane, and our lane in this type of deployment is to provide refreshments and canteening for the responders, and let the other medical care personnel take care of any firefighters that might need attention.
So you have a number of volunteers yourself that are kind of supporting our firefighter volunteers out there.
Yes, we had at the canteening site, at the staging site, we had about 10 volunteers manning these emergency response vehicles, heading out for reinforcements when they needed more beverages, more snacks and food and things like that. And then, of course, the other thing that we did overnight was we did work with the town of Riverhead to open up what was initially thought was just going to be an evacuation location at the senior center in Riverhead, and it did turn into an overnight shelter. We registered about a dozen people. I'm not sure exactly how many of those actually spent the night at the senior center, but we did have people come in. We always provide not only cots and blankets and food and refreshments, but anytime a Red Cross shelter opens or we are asked to support a shelter, as the town of Riverhead asked us to do in this case, we also have a mental health counselor, a trained mental health counselor on site. And they can be pretty busy, you know, when someone is asked to leave their home in a hurry and they don't know if their home is okay, and, you know, something as silly as the fish in their fish tank, they have mental health counselors that are there to talk to these folks until they can get the information that they need.
And what about people with pets?
Well, we actually have a wonderful relationship with the Suffolk County SPCA. Chief Roy Gross worked with us last night to determine just how significant the need was going to be. People did show up at the town of Riverhead Senior Center with their pets. The Red Cross portion of the shelter takes care of the people, and fortunately, in a matter of an hour and a half, the SPCA had sent over one of their mobile units, and so anyone who did bring pets, we were able to take care of the pets with the help of the SPCA.
All right, so you were able to handle about 50 people, although the need didn't seem to be that great, but that was what you had set up for?
That's correct. The facility was able to handle, we think, between 50 and 70. We had the supplies to handle that number of people. Had the need been greater, we had the supplies there and certainly could have opened another shelter. But realistically, you know, even with the number of people that were evacuated, you know, what we encourage people to do is to consider any overnight shelter or evacuation shelter to be the last resort. And if they have friends or family that they can stay with, if they're able to get to a local hotel or motel, that should be their first option. And of course, we are there to support people if they don't have any other place to go.
All right. What's your plan for right now? What's your next step for today? What are you about to be doing?
Well, we will be participating in the press briefing a little later today. This morning, we will be conferring, as we do all day and night, with the Suffolk County Office of Emergency Management, find out from them what they need from us in the way of possible additional sheltering. We'll continue to work with the town of Riverhead to keep that evacuation center open as long as people are not able to get back to their homes. And we will continue to provide canteening, and this is a big deal. You know, obviously, until this fire is completely under control and the firefighters are home, we are going to be there to continue to provide beverages, refreshments, and anything that we can to make their work a little easier.
All right, Craig Cooper, thank you very much. And Craig's talking about that press conference that the Red Cross is going to be participating in at 9:15 this morning with County Executive Steve Ballone there. And one of the things they're talking about, we've got the new